Hello everybody. I hope this is all working. It looks a little bit different here for me today. So here we go. All right, great. Um, Hello everybody and happy holidays, and thank you so much for coming in and joining me today. I know it's been a very it's a very busy time of the year. So thank you very much. Now, feel free to please say hello in the comments. I'm always excited to see who is joining in. Okay, so today we will be talking about the developmental progression of handwriting skills, and we will specifically be focusing on the pre-writing shapes. Now, you may wonder what are pre-writing shapes, and those are basically lines and circles and squares and triangles, and we'll talk about those in a moment. But the reason why they are so important is because they are the ones to help accurately form all the letters and all the numbers. And I'm not sure if you knew, but there's actually a predictable pattern that children learn to develop these pre-writing shapes. Um, so really, before learning, teaching your kiddos how to write their name or focus on those writing their letters, I would really encourage you to work on the pre-writing shapes and see where they are. So let's get going and have a look at what those pre-writing shapes are. So for your little ones, for your little toddlers, if you give them, a crayons, you will see lots of kind of scribbling all the different directions. And that is very appropriate for, 1 to 2 years. Now, the first kind of pre-writing shapes that you might be seeing is actually a line going down. Oh, well, that's not very going down, right? Um, okay, a straight line going down. Now, what you will be actually hearing me say is imitation and copying. So, imitation is basically for when you just watched me, right, draw, and then they copy. And copying is when they already see an image, right, and then they copy it themselves. So the imitation is again around 1 to 2 years, and then copying is 2 to 3 years. Now the next shape is the one going across. So imitation around 2.5 years is appropriate for them to be able to form this, and copying 3 years. Now the next one is circle. Um, Now also what I'm going to do is afterwards I am going to paste in comments a screenshot basically of all the different shapes and what ages they are required, where it's developmentally appropriate for them to accomplish these shapes. So don't worry about kind of trying to note it down. So a circle basically is imitation for 2 years and 9 months, and copying 3 years. Okay. The next one is a cross. Here we go. A cross. A cross, 4 years to draw that. Okay. The next one is the left diagonal. That is 4 years and 4 months. Then, oh yeah, and what you can do is when you are teaching your kiddos to kind of draw these shapes, try to make it fun. So for the little ones who maybe really enjoy different songs, I mean, you can teach them by kind of using songs to help them draw these shapes. So for example, the rain is falling down, 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 while they're drawing things like that. Or the wheels on the bus go round and round. So something like that to basically entice them and get them excited and motivated to be able to draw. Okay, so after this diagonal line, we have a square. And a square is really for 4.5 years of age is developmental appropriately. Then we have the line that goes the other way, and that's 4 years and 7 months. Then we have a cross, and sorry, not a cross, an X, and that's 4 years and 11 months. And the last one that I kind of put in there is a triangle, and that is 5 years and 3 months. So again, the reason why these shapes are so important is because these strokes are included in all the letters and all the numbers. And that is why it's so important. So for example, my youngest son's name is Zach. So if you look at his name, there is no way as a 3-year-old he will be able to really form all his letters correctly. I mean, this, okay, because it's straight lines. This kind of starting to get curved lines, but Z and A both use diagonal lines. So developmentally, it's appropriate for him to be, over 4 4 years and 4 months this way, and I mean lines this way, it's 4 years and 7 months. Now, saying that, that doesn't mean that if you have a kiddo who really loves writing and drawing, they might be obviously going a little bit faster and doing this pre-writing shapes earlier, it's fine. But if your kiddo is kind of not doing these shapes, that's also okay. And then you can look at the shapes that we just went through and think about the age where your son is and where they are, where the shapes are. Oh, your child is. Sorry, I have boys. That's why I said son. So yeah, so just kind of compare. Okay, so then after your kids know how to form those pre-writing shapes, is really when we're wanting to focus on writing letters. So the first one is, first we teach them how to do capital letters and then lowercase letters. And I guess capital, and again, I'm happy to do another live if you guys want, that focuses on how to teach your kids writing those letters and how to group them when you're teaching them. So if it is something that you're interested in, please let me know in the comments. All right, so when we're looking at the progression of writing skills, again, as I said, first we teach them how to do uppercase and then lowercase. The ages for that, so pre-kindergarten and kindergarten is really kind of learning the uppercase letters. Then excuse me. Lowercase letters. The pre-kindergarten age is all about recognizing the letters and kindergarten writing it. Then we have writing short words and short sentences, and that's again kindergarten age, and writing sentences and paragraphs then first grade. Letter reversal is also common until second grade, so don't stress about that. Now, today's curriculum may not always be keeping in line with what is appropriate for kids developmentally. So that can be quite challenging sometimes for the kids. And again, kids learn also at different levels. Some, depending on their interests, some may be much more motivated to be doing all these, drawing and writing tasks, and some might be a little bit later. And again, as I said, the X, that's developed at 4 years and 11 months. So don't stress about it. Now, a few little tips about if you're worried about your kids' handwriting and what you can do. Number one, whenever possible, take your kids outside. Get them to climb trees, roll down hills, play with sticks, pick up all those heavy rocks, and maybe fill up a bucket full of sand and carry this. So all that kind of heavy work with the whole body and kind of head changing the position really helps on strengthening the core. And the core is really like the anchor for all the other movements, including being able to use your hands. For strengthening of your fingers, um, anything with resistance. So, for example, anything, kind of where they have to force it in and out. So, um, markers, right? Oh, hello, Kokeb. Thank you for joining us. Um, and, Legos are great because they're pulling in and out. Um, Also very important. Play-Doh is really great, and please feel free to check out my post on sensory lifestyle of Play-Doh and fine motor skills. There's lots of great ideas of how you can use Play-Doh, and I'm just reading more comments here. Okay, great. Thank you, Audrey. Yes, interaction on how to develop these skills would be great. Wonderful. I'll definitely put that in. Thank you, Audrey. Um, okay, so yes, definitely something that I can do in the coming weeks. Now, last quick tip, I guess what I wanted to talk about is pencil grip. Now, there are, you might have heard the term functional pencil grip, which, it's either kind of the tripod grasp or the quadrupod or even like a modified grasp like this. Now, why are these grasps actually considered functional grasps? It's because they really allow for really nice movement of your fingers move really nicely. So the formation of your letters can be very neat because you can really control the pencil and how you're forming your letters. And also, once your kiddos are going to be writing more in the kind of higher grades, if they do have a functional grasp, they will be able to write faster. Now, if you have a little kiddo and you're like, oh my gosh, he's definitely, the thumb is over or the pencil is kind of, this finger is kind of up high, which is another common grasp. What I would recommend is just a quick tip is get crayons, break them up. Here's the little crayon that I broke, and get them to hold these whenever they do any drawings, any coloring, because what happens is it actually forces them to hold the crayon with their fingers, right? There's no way you can do the grasp where your finger goes up high, like this one, for example, right? You can't do that. So this is just a great tip that I would recommend. And even with the little ones, I think my boys, they grasp developed fine, but I was still getting them to draw with the broken crayons because it really does strengthen all these fingers that I needed for the good grasp. Okay, so I think that's it for me for today. Hopefully you're able to pick up some useful information, and I will post the developmental progression in the comments. Again, thank you so much for coming. As next Thursday is New Year's Eve, I'm going to skip that week, but I will be back in January. And I'm also thinking about starting a conversation about sensory processing and other different senses, because I think proper sensory processing and well-developed senses are really foundations of skill development. So I think you guys will find that useful as well. So I think that's it for me. Thank you again so much for joining. Happy holidays, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.